Every single day, around 83 million rolls of toilet paper are consumed worldwide. Think about that number for a second. It's not just a product we keep in our homes, it's a daily essential that we often take for granted. But here's the question: how is toilet paper actually made? To uncover the fascinating process, we stepped inside a modern paper factory to see how this everyday item comes to life. Toilet paper's history stretches back further than most people realize. It was officially developed in 1857 by American entrepreneur Joseph Gayety, who introduced it to the market under the name therapeutic paper. In those early days, it wasn't rolled, it came in flat packages of pre-cut sheets. The real breakthrough happened in 1890, when the roll format was invented. That single innovation transformed the way people used it, making it far more practical, hygienic, and accessible. Fast forward to today, and the numbers are staggering. On average, one person uses about 100 rolls of toilet paper every year. Multiply that across the globe, and it comes to over 21 billion rolls annually. To put it in perspective, that's enough toilet paper to circle the Earth multiple times. Now, with this massive demand comes a challenge: producing so much toilet paper without devastating forests. The industry's answer: recycling. Instead of cutting down more trees, much of today's toilet paper is created by transforming discarded office papers, newspapers, and magazines into something soft, white, and absorbent. But make no mistake, this isn't a simple process. It's the result of 150 years of technological innovation. Inside the factory, tons of discarded paper arrive every day from schools, offices, and universities. The first step is selection. Not all paper can be recycled into toilet paper. Workers and machines meticulously sort through the supply, ensuring only the brightest, highest quality papers are chosen. These papers have strong fibers, perfect for turning into something soft yet durable. Once sorted, the paper is compressed into massive bales, making it easier to store and transport within the factory. Every day, around 200 tons of this material is recycled. The real transformation begins when the bales are fed into a gigantic industrial tank called a pulper. Imagine a blender, but the size of a small swimming pool. Inside, recycled paper is mixed with large amounts of water, breaking it down into its most basic form: fibers. This mixture becomes what's known as pulp, a watery suspension filled with cellulose fibers. These fibers are the building blocks of all paper, and they're both strong and flexible. The pulper's powerful blades spin for about 10 minutes, tearing the paper apart and releasing these fibers. But at this stage, the pulp is far from clean. It contains everything from staples and bits of plastic to ink and adhesives. To clean it, the pulp passes through a series of fine screens that trap larger contaminants, leaving only fibers and smaller particles behind. But the biggest problem is ink. Ink makes the pulp dark and dirty, and toilet paper needs to be soft and white. This is where one of the most ingenious steps comes in: flotation. In flotation, air is bubbled through the pulp while special chemicals called surfactants are added. These make ink particles stick to the rising bubbles. As the bubbles float to the surface, they carry the ink with them, forming a foamy layer that's skimmed away. Slowly but surely, the pulp turns lighter. Once de-inked, the pulp is squeezed through rollers to remove excess water. At this stage, it's partially dry but still gray. To give it the familiar bright white appearance, the pulp undergoes bleaching. Rotating blades cut and prepare it for this step, where it transforms from dull gray to pure white, ready to be turned into the soft sheets we use every day. Have you ever wondered how something as ordinary as toilet paper goes from raw recycled materials to the neatly packaged rolls in your bathroom? The process is more fascinating than you might expect, full of giant machines, precise chemistry, and a touch of engineering brilliance. It all begins with cellulose pulp, made mostly from recycled paper. Even after impurities are removed, the pulp doesn't appear white because it still contains lignin, the natural substance in wood fibers. Lignin is particularly stubborn when it comes from materials like old newspapers, which usually make up about 5–10% of the recycled input. To eliminate it, the pulp goes through a bleaching process. Inside a massive structure known as the bleach tower, the pulp is treated with carefully measured chemicals at a controlled temperature. In just minutes, this treatment gives the pulp the brightness and clean whiteness we associate with toilet paper. But whiteness alone isn't enough. Toilet paper also has to balance strength with softness. This is achieved by blending two types of virgin fibers: short fibers from hardwood, which add brightness and a soft touch, and long fibers from softwood, which provide durability and strength. The bleached pulp is spread evenly onto a large plate before passing through an industrial dryer. Here, in less than a second, most of the water evaporates, allowing the fibers to bond tightly into a thin sheet. That sheet is astonishingly delicate, just 1/10 of a millimeter thick, yet it's strong enough to be rolled into massive parent rolls, each stretching up to 75 kilometers of paper. Imagine a single roll that could wrap around an entire city block multiple times. These parent rolls are then transported to the factory's conversion section, where the magic of transformation begins. First, the giant rolls are unwound to prepare them for cutting and shaping into the smaller, familiar toilet paper rolls. Precision machines add perforations every 10 to 12 centimeters, creating those easy-to-tear sheets we all rely on. To enhance softness and give the paper its characteristic cushiony texture, embossing is applied, tiny raised patterns that also increase thickness and comfort. Meanwhile, another part of the factory is busy preparing the paper's backbone, the cardboard tubes. Large sheets of cardboard, about 80 centimeters wide, are glued diagonally and formed into continuous tubes. These are cut into sections around 165 centimeters long, which are later trimmed to size. Once ready, the tubes move to the winding section, where 2 layers of paper are wrapped together to form the familiar 2-ply toilet paper. The paper winds tightly around the tube, and once the roll is complete, an automatic blade slices it cleanly. Glue seals the edge so it doesn't unravel, and then a circular saw cuts the large roll into 16 smaller standard rolls. At this point, the product is nearly complete. The final stage is packaging. Rolls destined for commercial use, like those found in public restrooms, are wrapped individually in paper. Household rolls, on the other hand, are bundled together in clear plastic packs, ranging from 4 to as many as 30 rolls. From start to finish, the entire process takes about 15 hours. By then, tons of recycled paper and cellulose fibers have been reborn into one of the most essential products in our daily lives: toilet paper. So next time you reach for a roll, you'll know the hidden story of engineering, chemistry, and innovation that makes it possible. If you found this process as fascinating as we did, be sure to share this with someone who loves learning how everyday things are made, and don't forget to subscribe for more behind-the-scenes looks at the objects we use every day.